Hello guys, this is JohnRemus.com TV. I've got 5 ideas I think will really have a positive effect on the way police operations go. Number 1 being, partner up. I feel like police should look out for each other. One of the partners should be more heavily armed, perhaps having body armor. The other more light, prepared to move quickly, and obviously healthy, trained to run fast. Perhaps have gloves so they can climb over something if needed. And that way, partners look out for each other, and there's a stronger, there's a synergy that goes on, and there's this, one can play the role of looking out for danger, be more serious, the quote-unquote good cop, bad cop, and the other can be more friendly, outgoing, such as a town sheriff might be, and this would allow there to be a connection made between the public at large and police officers. The friendly one would engage people, and the other one would look out for things, and they'd walk around and make a presence. That's something I think people don't realize, that you have to have a presence, whether it's military, police, and beyond, in order to create a sense of security and that comfort level that society can, of course, all appreciate. There are the occasional people who say, "Oh, I feel like there should be no surveillance, no police, no TSA, and so on." And there may be areas where there's too much cost expenditure and too much spent on unnecessary things like nuclear weapons, which don't really solve any problems in the world. They just create large-scale conflict and destruction, and other high-cost things like ships and all types of different things, and that I think are just consummations of taxpayer dollars for special interest groups and the quote-unquote military-industrial complex. But staying on the subject, I think we need our basics, and it's nice to have that sense of, we are a secure place to be, and let's make it so. And in particular, the resources should be allocated to protect American citizens more so than engage in conflicts and unfolding scenarios in other countries where, can we afford to help them? Maybe not. It's the mentality of helping your family first, which I think is reasonable and suitable, or appropriate. And number 2 is this thing I call the nightstick or light stick. It's like a staff that you can use as a like a spear or to keep people off, and it should have a bright light on it. Or police could carry, well, they do carry bright flashlights, which is great, but just maybe even a blue light or something on the staff, just to create an additional show of, this is who we are. We're walking around, and to combine the movement in vehicles with walking around, in particular in areas such as malls, where sometimes I don't see a single police officer, many people. You want to have a show of authority, of presence. You want to be able to not just depend on mall security, which are in effect unarmed, but in actual police, law enforcement, to look out for the fellow citizens of the area, especially high-volume traffic areas, malls, other community activities, and so on. And the city can help out the police by keeping keeping the city well lit. And a few other ideas. Number 3, have the assailant sit down, or the person in question sit down and wait. If for some reason there's only one police officer, have the person sit down and wait until any continued interactions occur, so that way there's no excuse me, they try to arrest them and they flee, or they effectively outmaneuver the police officers, or you know, an argument ensues, and you know, you want to have 2 police officers or more present. That's what I think is appropriate in this in the war against crime. And part of it is a question of what type of crime is going on. And well, on another note of the idea of having the assailant or person in question wait, you know, also have them throw their ID over, so that way you're not like waiting for them to. You're not having to go close to them and grab their hand. They might grab your hand when you're retrieving their ID. And laws should be made in favor of the police, such as certain things like marijuana laws, where marijuana is not a, you know, people don't behave dangerously when they're under the influence, you know, using it. So I think there should be more lenient laws towards it. Of course, not if you're driving or, you know, you're in a job-related situation. Then I think it's different. But also, how about some laws where people can report people for texting? By the way, I think there should be more police just watching people for people texting, just watching, you know, maybe there could be a bunch of cameras that would have some type of detection, computerized process where they can catch people texting. But at minimum, have police be, you know, like on the side of the road, looking at lots of lights and to catch someone texting. You know, I want to live in a safe environment. And how about a law where everyone who's leaving a nightclub, if they're going to use their keys, or if they're driving, then they should have to blow in a breathalyzer, and then those records, you know, you see what I mean, right? I'm just along the lines of that. And another thing is certain people in question, or you know, that are potential lawbreakers. You know, some of them need to be treated like they're really animals, because they are. If they're under the influence, if they're mentally disturbed, they're really angry. You know, don't hope that, oh, hopefully people are nice in general. Always be a healthy skeptic as a police officer. And I'd say it's about 5. Just a general sense, my personal consensus of what's going on out there, and how do we make it a peaceful world on a local level. Because, and in addition to that, I'm also going to add, I think the people who are receiving calls, you know, there should be more if needed. You know, sometimes I've noticed there aren't, you know, it takes a long time to get a hold of a police, fire, ambulance, phone operator. And it should be right away. So how about some more money allocated to that? I mean, at the end of the day, safety is the #1 step to a civil and first world country, you know, where people can feel safe. And a lot of crimes are involved drugs and alcohol, so perhaps stricter laws. Well, and then the irony is in certain European countries, it seems like people don't. Somehow they are, you know, making drugs legal somehow makes things better, and I'm not sure what that's all about. Making drugs legal makes it easier for people to, you know, that reduces crime rate and so on. But some stuff to look into. I may be counteracting what I'm saying in part by bringing that up, but just try to have a balanced opinion. And but I think that the biggest thing is to start partnering up. You know, have one partner who's can move fast. They have light gear. They can run after a person, and another who has maybe some body armor. And perhaps I like the idea of this idea of a shield for police officers to have. You know, not like a huge shield, but something that's thick, clear plastic that can stop bullet rounds, and you can hold it in front of your face and you can see through it. The SWAT patrol, I know they have those big shields, but I'm talking about a smaller one that they can kind of look behind a corner or look through, you know, and yet their head will be protected and they can cover it in front of them. So just some things to think about, and you know, look out for our fellow law officers, making the place safer and secure. I think they should have lights on their uniforms, maybe a blue light or whatnot. Just something that, so they don't just walk around with their dark uniforms. Things to think about. Thanks for considering.